Okay. Okay, so I think we are good to go. Omar, if you'd like to start us off.
Sure thing. Good morning, everybody, to today's Region 14 Upper Rio Grande Field Planning Group meeting. For the record, it's October 3rd, 2023, and it is 9:01 a.m. Call the meeting to order. Item number 2, public comments. Is there anybody from the public that would like to address this group? Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 3, review and approve the minutes for the meeting held on June 21st, 2023.
And those minutes were provided with the agenda. They're part of the hyperlink.
If there are no comments, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Sorry.
I'll second.
Second. The first and second, any further discussion? All in favor, please indicate so by saying aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Okay, motion passes. Item number 4, Texas Water Development Board updates.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Good to see you all. I think the only thing I have today is that we are getting close to the end of our amended plan review. So once we are able to get that back out, we'll have like close to a 2-week turnaround for responding to requests for information. So we're making our way through and we should have an update on amended plans really soon. And this month we are taking our updated administrative rules to our board. Next month in November, we're planning on taking the request for applications package. So we'll know more after that about the open request for applications and the due date for that from your sponsor. So we have a lot coming up in the next couple months, but really it's just amended plan at the moment. So let me know if you have any questions, but that's all I have today.
Great, thank you. Just want to add to the record that Mr. Bennett joined at 9:03.
Hey, Jen.
Oh, he's in.
Okay.
Item number 5,
Check this clock.
review and approve administrative expenses. Annette?
Yes, so Rio Grande Council of Governments is requesting approval for the administrative expenses that we have incurred. And this is showing expenses from January 2023 to April of 2023. And so if there are any questions for me, I can answer those. If not, I'll turn it back to Omar, but I'm sorry, but before I do, just as a reminder, since we have these expenses up until April, any expenses that we have thereafter, we're still going to need a flood planning meeting for you all to review and approve these as well. So you'll see more of these forthcoming.
Any issues with year-to-date being more than budgeted?
No, we're actually, let me see, somebody came in. Did somebody let them in? Okay. In terms of our year-to-date expenses, our total is 65,093. We have that 100,000 as our total amount, so we're okay. We're not going to be going over.
Entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay.
With a first and a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate so by saying aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Okay, motion passes. Also to the record that Mr. Sal Masood joined the meeting at 9:05. Item number 6, ACOM updates.
Good morning, everybody. Gilbert Andujo with AECOM. Not much of an update here. Just kind of let you all know we did submit the original plan as per the dates that were there. We did submit the amendment for the dates as well. TWDB accepted the original plans on July 25th, if I'm not mistaken. And I think, Megan, the last email we got from you was August 9th, stating we were all good with our submission on the amendment. I haven't seen any other emails from you on that.
Yes, that's right. So you're right about final plans being officially adopted, which is very exciting for everyone. And yes, we also received amended plan, and we're reviewing it now. So ball's in our court, and you'll be hearing from us with comments, TWDB comments soon.
And other than that, I mean, we're just waiting on comments from TWDB, see if we have to address anything. And that's all I have for now. Just looking forward to the next phase of this regional flood planning. Does anybody have any questions?
Gilbert, do you have anything to do with number 43, item 43 on the matrix, which is submission of application for regional flood planning grants to the Water Development Board? Do you have anything to do with that?
No, that would be us.
That's you guys.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's the first month for that. And then how about development of the 2028 RFP?
Yes,
That's the
so,
first month for it too.
so we will be asking board approval to submit an RFP for the second cycle, and that will be on October 27th.
Okay,
And then, so once we get the approval, we'll post the RFP that day on the 27th.
okay, all right. That's it.
Megan, is there anything else that we would need to be considering as the sponsoring entity with that timeline?
No, not right now. Not right now. Really just waiting for the RFA to be finalized, and we'll know more about a specific due date then. So not at the moment.
Thank you.
Okay. Item number 7, review and approve whether to consider additional region-specific public notice requirements for the second cycle of regional flood planning.
Yes, so this item was brought to my attention by Megan. This is a requirement that we need to discuss as per Water Development Board. So Megan, would you mind just further elaborating on this item in terms of what are some possible considerations the group can make?
Sure. Yeah. So we have public notice requirements already in our rules, but we have this sort of pesky requirement that each planning cycle, the RFPG as a group needs to consider whether their region would benefit from other specific requirements to add. So whether it be like newspaper print or specific like social media requirements. In my experience, just based on my own regions, I don't think there have ever been any other specific additions, but that doesn't mean that can't change in the future. So it just needs to be discussed and considered by the group whether you don't add any region-specific ones or whether you do add additional ones on top of what's already in the rules. Which is just in the rules right now. It's just on the external RFPG website and on the Texas Secretary of State that you post your meeting agendas and notices. So if you want anything past that, now would be the time to consider it and put it in your bylaws.
I'm of the opinion that we should not add more work for it. However, it doesn't, so I would prefer that we don't add any formal rules. However, it might be a good idea to at least send emails, to include to our email list to Sunland Park and maybe a representative from Mexico, letting them know what the flood planning group is doing in case there's any interest of Sunland Park, because flood issues do impact them. Maybe the Doña Ana flood. I mean, just adding them to the email, but I would not want to increase your work burden.
Okay.
Anyone else?
I agree. I don't see any benefit in adding print notifications, unless somebody else sees otherwise. I think, an email list would probably be where we get most of our attendance and notifications out anyways. So if we're already doing that, I agree with Omar.
Oh, and one thing we can do, we don't necessarily need to formalize it, but we do have a very small following, and that's something that we have been working on with our social media, but we can always post the meeting. It can be just one of the other, in addition to the other two, but we don't have to formalize that, but we can at least just post it so people can be aware in the public.
Yeah, I agree with Omar and Levi. Just do whatever you're already doing, but there's really no need to add any additional work.
Thank you. So then you would want that to be a motion, Megan, for them to state that they want to keep with the current requirements and not.
Yeah, I don't remember if we're requiring that, but I guess just to be safe, really it's more of for documentation purposes, you're going to include some sort of proof that it was discussed when you submit the application.
Air blowing on me.
Okay, cool. Do you want to do that then?
Oh, sorry.
Okay. I'll motion to keep the public notice requirements as they are. For the
I'll
second
second that
cycle.
motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, motion passes. Item number 8, drip program update on Hudspeth County project.
Yes, and so let me just make sure we've got. Yeah, okay, so, we presented this item some time ago in terms of the work that's being done by the drip program through Dr. Carrie Stevens in Hudspeth County. And so today, we have an update from Dr. Stevens. She also has, County Judge Joanna McKenzie from Hudspeth County present as well. But again, this is just something that furthers the efforts of flood planning, flood mitigation, data collection, research, things of that nature. And so Dr. Stevens would like to give an update to the group on that. So Carrie, can I turn it over to you?
Absolutely. Hi, everybody. I was here in April, and I've also brought one more person with me in addition to Judge McKenzie, and that's Samantha Varela. She's been really integral to our project. And in April, I told you what we were planning to do. And so now I'm back just to give you an update of what we did throughout the entire summer. And as we're kind of wrapping up this project, I'm going to share some about what I hope that we'll be able to continue doing in the future, even though our funding for that project is ending. So just to kind of remind y'all, the DRIP program really looks at places in Texas, predominantly rural locations, that lack data that really helps them either go after additional funding, or maybe their flood maps, their FEMA flood maps are way out of date, which is definitely the case in Fort Hancock. And we really came into 7 communities a year and a half ago and just asked them questions in terms of what would help you. Is there something that we have access to that we could provide them in a usable way to help them make better decisions, planning, and go after additional funding? We then focused on 2 communities where we really were going to go beyond just providing them kind of physical maps. All the community got physical maps that they wanted that included structures that looked like they were in the floodplain. We included all the different public data sets that we could find on these maps. So it was things like moving beyond just FEMA, but also the flood quilt data that is now out there. We included that on there. We included the structures databases that we could find as well. And we gave all of that to the communities in the format they wanted. Some of them wanted PDF versions because they don't have fancy GIS tools to be able to use the data. And so every community got a little bit different. With Hudspeth and Judge McKenzie, we really talked a lot about the fact that Fort Hancock didn't have, their flood map hasn't been updated from FEMA since 1985. And everything looks like they don't flood. But for those of you who are from this area, you probably know that when the arroyos come down, I mean, it's flooding their community almost every single year, including this year. So what we developed together with Judge McKenzie and one of the local county commissioners, as well as the community, is the idea that we needed to collect some evidence this flooding was happening and exactly where it was happening. And so Samantha and I spent time in the community. We trained 4 different community members to be able to go door to door and ask their community members to share photos and images of when it floods. And to my surprise, I mean, I was really hoping we would get 50% participation. We got, I think, over 90% of the people who had images participated. It was unbelievable. And the whole community started talking about this mission to get on the map, to put their community on the map. And so what we've done now is we have those images collected, and we're looking at how to physically put them on a map to show where the most flooding is happening. But we've also created an app so that in the future, these trained groups of people can upload images. Because one of the things that Judge McKenzie mentioned is, when a flood happens, everybody's just having to go out, including all the county officials, are out with their personal phones trying to capture images. They don't have anywhere to put them. And then they lose track of when it happened, where, what event. And so we're really hoping that that is going to continue living in this new state of Texas disaster information system that the Institute for Disaster Resilient Texas, part of Texas A&M, is housing and developing for the state. One more thing that I wanted to kind of tell you that we did in terms of data collection. We also had a team who has really high resolution drones come out and fly Fort Hancock as well as Desert Haven. And the resolution of these is so great that we can actually tell where the water's flowing. We can even tell where people are hauling water and using the water haulers. And so we are making all of that data available to the county. We've given maps back that can help all the county officials. And we've created a video that captures the challenges that they have and also what they're doing about it. And that is going to be available for the county to use as well. And then Samantha and I will be back around October 25th. And one of the things we committed to do for the community is to come back and give them a resume workshop. Essentially, the community data collectors that we hired, because we needed them full time for 2 to 3 weeks, they all were people who are working part-time jobs. And when they sent us their resumes for the university to hire them, the university has they don't understand kind of the breadth of people's experience in these types of projects. And people looked at the resumes and they were like, oh, you've got to fix these resumes. And we were like, no, this is the resumes of these community members. But it did make us realize that one thing we could give back to the community is actually help them improve their resumes. And so we're going to do a resume workshop for the data collectors, as well as tell them to invite their friends and see if we can't also kind of strengthen the skill set of the community as a whole as we kind of wrap up this project. So JoJo, do you have anything to add? Judge McKenzie, sorry.
Oh, you're fine. No, I mean, I just can't say enough about this program. Probably every single person on the call has spoken to me as I beg for help for this community in one form or another. They are one of our colonias that I'm very concerned about. And so it was really incredible to see this grassroots effort of creating a flood map, basically. And it's something that the county can use. So it's not just my voice out there. I have data now that is from an outside organization. Being able to give the locals some experience is phenomenal, but just the engagement was really impressive. Giving local ownership, I really can't say enough about it. So if y'all have an opportunity to work with DRIP, they have been phenomenal. And I think the most exciting part of this, of course, selfishly, I love that it's in my community, but from the beginning, Carrie and I talked about, okay, let's do it here because we can be able to replicate it. So I hope to see these type of grassroots efforts be replicated in small communities as well, so that they can be put on the map. And then that has been the most exciting thing, is to kind of pay it forward from there. So thank you all.
Yeah, and Samantha, do you have anything to add?
Just that it has been an incredible experience. It was way better than we expected, and I'm very, very much looking forward to see how this grows.
And just to let everybody know, we had thought our funding was going to get continued, and then at the very last minute at the legislature, it got cut. So we are now all as a team, because we know we now have a process that works. And so we are all out. We're writing National Science Foundation grants to try to continue this type of work. We're writing things to NOAA and the National Weather Service, because we really feel like we've gotten in a very short period of time, and a whole lot of it is the community. I mean, this was a community that stepped up and just took ownership of this. Like I'm just honored to be a part of it. But boy, do we have a really fantastic success story of a community that is tired of this happening to them, and they want to do something about it, and they want their voices heard, and they really did feel like they could contribute to a larger resource that hopefully can help them in the future.
Let's see, Dr. Stevens, I think what I was asking Omar, as you were wrapping up, what are some other potential funding sources the county can look at now?
Yes.
With the data they have, and so he's already mentioned a few of them, and so Judge McKenzie, we'll see how we can put that together and see what options you all have, because I think that's probably has been your biggest hindrance in terms of applying for funding, because you don't have the data. So, and it's so current. So you just want to maximize on that, right?
And Judge McKenzie, if you remember, you are part of the City of El Paso's Climate Pollution Reduction Grant. And so essentially for the city's climate action plan, everything that we did in the flood plan is right under that. So this is close enough to priorities outlined in the flood plan, so that you should be able to apply individually without Nicole Ferrini and her team for the Climate Reduction Act funding. Notice of intent to apply is in February of 2024, with applications due by May 1st. I'm sorry, no, April 1st of next year. And as when we talked over the phone, I'm committed to helping you and your team write that application.
Thank you. You know how much I appreciate you guys, and I pester you. So thank you for answering my texts and phone calls and emails when I do. Thank you.
Hey, Dr. Stevens, Dave, who are the other 5 communities that did not make it to the final 2, just for documentation?
Oh, absolutely. And so the other one that made it to the final 2, and we did something very different from them, is Wise County. They have some capacity in terms of they have some GIS resources, and their issues are completely different, but their big issue is they have a 10,000 home development going in their rural county. And they're very worried about what it's going to do in terms of, they already flood. And so they're very concerned about projecting and trying to understand what the future holds after that development goes in. The other counties, and we're still in contact with all of them, and we've told all of them have different needs, is what it boils down to. Fayette County, Comanche County, Willacy County. And just to let you know, Willacy in the lower Rio Grande Valley, lots of people are in Willacy County right now, and they do need lots of help. And so we've actually been back and helped them in a different way. But we didn't go in depth and develop kind of a tool for them like we did for Hudspeth and Wise. And then let me see, the other county is, who else? So there's Hudspeth, Wise, Comanche, Fayette. The other ones are towns, and one of them is Fremont, and one of them is Orange Grove. And they are in, and I always get Jim Wells and Jeff Davis mixed up. Which one's in y'all's area?
Jeff Davis is our region. Jim Willis
Okay.
is
then it's in Jim Wells County. It's those two communities. And those were really small towns that also have extreme flooding issues. And, you know, we've definitely seen that a lot of times when you're the small town in a county, the resources go other places. And so one of the things we're doing to follow up with Fremont and Orange Grove is, you may have heard of the CHARM program that brings in a community tool to get everybody around and talk about urban planning. Really, they're actually going into those communities as a follow-up on our project in November.
Outstanding. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And literally everywhere we went, when I was in Willacy, there were people there were the AgriLife financial extension agents. They have a group that really kind of focuses on economic development. There were two folks there from rural counties. They were both like, hey, when you branch out and need more counties, come talk to us. So, you know, we have a list, and we really do. The more I've done this work, the more I feel like the rural counties in Texas are often the ones who are left out. And they do have less data than everyone else. So it's been a very eye-opening project, and we're looking forward to finding a way to continue it in the future.
I would think that maybe this could possibly be a community funding request through appropriations. That one starts, and usually it's March for the timeline usually. February.
So in our conversations with Congressman Gonzalez and his office, he wants us to start pitching those projects to him now.
Wow.
So last time we were given 17 days to submit.
Oh my gosh.
So
A lot of them have to be shovel ready. You have to be very far along to be competitive in the process. So I think that, again, with what's been happening with Hudson County, this can really be a really good story to tell in terms of how it would be accomplished.
And so with the city, we go to DC every quarter. And so we're expecting in November, if we have a project by then, just a very simple scope, a one-pager, it's enough for us to advocate on your behalf, or if you want to follow along, please come with us. We generally stay a week. We hit up all of the federal agencies, especially those that would be the pass-through agencies where community project funding goes through. And so we'll have to identify accounts. Ultimately, nothing's decided until February when the new round is set. Nevertheless, we've been very successful at the city in securing those community project funding. 4 projects this last round.
Wow. That's fantastic. So should I follow up with you and see if we can't, because I have a feeling whenever we started, I also met with Presidio County, with Jeff Davis, with they were the main ones. And so there are, and I know that y'all have continued doing a lot of work. Presidio has done a whole lot of additional work with their flood controls and thinking about how to deal with some of the issues that they have. But I feel like there could be some more opportunities in the Upper Rio Grande area. We certainly know that Desert Haven is something that the judge is very concerned about because it is growing rapidly. And boy, when you look from the air, you can certainly see what a bowl it is in.
Yeah, we can definitely, Dr. Stevens, the COG can work with you and facilitate with Omar and identifying those counties, whether it be the Rio Grande region of the 6 counties, or it crosses into New Mexico with Sunland, or it goes further into our region of 23. And I know that's a lot for you to cover that many counties, but those are the potential service areas that can be looked at.
Okay, great. Great. Well, when the video is available, I'm sure that Judge McKenzie will share it with everyone. And because it really, I think it does a really nice job of telling the story in like 4.5 minutes. So pretty straightforward.
We'll make sure we get that on for our board of directors, and if we can do that for flood planning and water planning as well.
Okay. That sounds good. If y'all don't mind, I'm going to let you know of a couple of other projects that I am working on currently. I am working on a Texas Water Development Board project where we are trying to better understand how to reach certain types of end user groups that are often left out of flood awareness efforts. And so that is an ongoing project, and I will at some point probably share some of those what we're finding with that. We also we've done a small understanding what small business owners need in the lower Rio Grande Valley. And one of my team members who's from the Valley has developed a really neat sandbag story concept in a brochure. And what they've asked us for there is we're actually going to be providing them some resources that help, just that they can hand out to help people better understand how to use sandbags properly, because it was something that we identified as a challenge. I know that the water group in El Paso hands out sandbags for people who live in the city or in their jurisdictions, but that's a resource that I can share. We'll have that developed by the end of the year, so I'll be glad to share that if that's something y'all would like. And as we develop different things, I'll just keep in touch and send things over. And we're going to be hosting them on our website. We make everything we do public so anybody can use them. The neat thing about the resources we've developed for the lower Rio Grande Valley is that everything is Spanish forward. So it's in Spanish first and English second. And the business owners that we interviewed, a lot of them let us use quotes. And so it's very relevant for their exact area. And so that's the way I really like to do projects, is to make sure that people feel ownership in an area of any of the resources they have, because that increases the likelihood they use them and find them helpful.
Thank you. I'll coordinate with you, Dr. Stevens, so we can get this out.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all so much for your time. Anybody else have any other questions?
Hi, this is Gisela Dagnino with El Paso Water. Dr. Stevens, I have been in communications with the National Weather Service with Jason Laney, and he is working on developing a vulnerability database of areas that are most vulnerable to flooding. I'm not sure if he's been in contact with you.
No.
Okay, so if you can, if I can get your information, I'll be meeting with him tomorrow, and I can provide him with your information so he may reach out to you. I'm not sure what they're going to be using that database for, but hey, it must be good to know the vulnerable areas of our area.
Oh, completely. What I'll do is I'll type my my email in the chat in just a minute. And just to let you know, on one of my other projects, we're actually working some with El Paso Water and hopefully more over time. And we just did a survey of the area to understand how people get their pipes prepared and their homes prepared for extreme weather. And so I'm hoping I will have data to share back with y'all by the end of this month.
Thank you.
And Jeff, did you have to unmute yourself?
Hi, I'm Jeff Bennett with the Rio Grande Joint Venture, and we do habitat restoration, stream restoration. One of the benefits is flood attenuation and mitigation. And we've got quite a bit of funding to spend in the Presidio, Brewster, Jeff Davis County area, and possibly a little bit further beyond. So I'd kind of like to, I missed the last meeting, I think, and this is the first I've heard of your program. So I have quite a few questions, and I'm wondering if we shouldn't talk offline to think about ways to cooperate or collaborate.
So that sounds really great because Jeff Davis actually reached out to me because I had mentioned when I was there that I worked with a county closer to Central Texas that actually orchestrated a community-driven wildfire evacuation drill. They really want to do that. And I can get them in contact with the people here, but that might be if that falls under your purview, that might also be a potential project that I know they're anxious to do that.
Yeah, we have a couple project, well, one project in Olympia, one project's in Cienega Creek in Jeff Davis County. I know the county judge, and
Yeah.
he's on our list of folks to reach out to in the coming month. The funding just got placed with us like last week, so
Okay.
we're just getting ramped up. But anyway,
All right. Well, Jeff, if you'll email me, we'll see if we can't set up a meeting soon.
okay, will do. Thank you.
Thanks.
Judge McKenzie, did you want to say anything else?
No, I was fat fingering. You can disregard
Oh.
me. Thank you.
Very good. It happens to us all. Thank you. Okay. No more complaints. Last one to adjourn? Mhm.
What is that, number 9?
Yes.
So thank you, everybody. At this point, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Levi?
Second.
Yeah, I'll second. Or Gisela can have it this time.
Stephanie, so, okay, thank you. And in terms of having a meeting, a future meeting, I think that probably won't be until I'm thinking that we'll probably want to have a meeting to discuss how we want to score the RFQs. So just be looking out on your emails and we'll get that set up with a timeline, so everybody's aware of what we anticipate for the upcoming months.
Great.
Okay, so we have a motion to adjourn.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please indicate so by saying aye. Aye.
Bye.
Aye.
Anybody?
Aye.
Anybody? Okay, motion passes. Thank you, everybody.
We'll see you all.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.